So. My sister, if you go out the tree. Yeah. Now it's some way nice. Ours got these like.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the select board meeting for Monday night. If you can, I ask that you please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get our business underway, I just want to take a moment and recognize our fire department. Our brave men and women of Bellingham Fire are fighting a 4-alarm fire right now in Milford, so I just wish that all of them stay safe and make it home safe tonight. So with that being said, I'd like to open our meeting by inviting Cumberland Farms for the change in management request. Come on, guys.
Come and sit here.
Yeah, you can sit right there in front of the front row.
Good evening. My name is Dawson Cooper. I'm an attorney at Upton, Cannell, and Devlin, representing Cumberland Farms of Massachusetts, Inc., doing business as Cumberland Farms, store number 6755, located at 297 Pulaski Boulevard. Cumberland Farms is applying for a change of manager. With me today is the proposed new manager of record, Angie Paris. Angie is a U.S. citizen and a Massachusetts resident. She has extensive experience in the food and beverage industry and has past management experience. Angie and I are happy to answer any questions the board may have. And we want to thank you for your time.
Anybody have any questions?
No, just congratulations.
All right, do I have a motion to accept the change in management?
So Jen?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none. Congratulations.
Congrats.
I was painless.
Yeah. No, I get one.
No, we'll look at. You have?
In my budget. Seven oh five, a little ahead of schedule. I would like to invite representatives from Algonquin Gas and Transmission.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to just introduce Guy Glotis, just to kind of give some background on how we got here tonight in front of the board. Algonquin Industries, which is has a good amount of the easements through the town of Bellingham, approached our office and talked to us about some DEP applications that they're going to be submitting. Wanted to give our office a heads up the notification so that it wasn't a surprise to anybody in the community, wasn't a surprise to anybody, you know, that is along the easements. And I'll let Guy Glotis and Algonquin talk about details of what they're going to be doing. But once I heard about it, I wanted to make sure that we were adding more lines, but more of this is an infrastructural upgrade is what this is. It's basically taking, just like any of the infrastructure upgrades you're doing to the roads, easements, some of these pipes have been there since 1950. So some of these things have to be updated dramatically. And as you know, we are in a little bit of an energy issue here with capacity and things like that. So this actually helps with some well-needed capacity flow. The current lines that we have, which will help with, I think, long-term energy costs. As natural gas is one of the major, we utilize natural gas, a lot of people don't realize, to run our electricity. So it's a double-edged sword, but I'll introduce Guy Glotis to kind of introduce that family. And I'm here, I just want to let you know that our office was notified. And it kind of was timing. It was the same time that Joe was appointed, so it was when he was starting. So, but we met with Joe to kind of go over what they were going to be doing and the applications they're going to be submitting to DEP. So before all these notifications and these public notifications hit with everybody, I recommended that they come in before you to let you know, as the select board members of the town, that these notices will be coming out, so nobody's shocked or thinking that there's gonna be more easements or more additional easements. It's pretty much the work that's inside of the current easements that are already here through town, that are already been there and established for quite some time. So I'll turn it over to Guy Glover.
Great. Well, first of all, thank you, Representative, and Mr. Chairman, through you to members of the board. I just first want to introduce two of my colleagues that are here tonight. To the right of me is John Sheridan, who has 35 years of experience with Enbridge. He is the Director for Government Relations, and I'm also joined by Nancy Kiss behind me, who has over 16 years, and she's runs the land and right-of-way division for Enbridge. And for your edification, my name is Guy Glotis. I am both the legislative liaison and community liaison here for Enbridge in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for about 10 or 11 years. And I will also add, like you, I am a former elected official and state rep from Central Mass. And I remember I used to only just have one rule when there were new projects, just no surprises. Let me know ahead of time what's going on. And I am very happy to say that Enbridge has that exact same philosophy. It's very important to this company that they have an open, close communication, and that things are done very transparently and very upfront. So as the representative mentioned, we had reached out to the representative and actually Joe Layden, who had just become the town administrator before we even filed with DPU. Before there was anything public, we just wanted to give the heads up because we don't want to shock or surprise anybody. But I'm going to just talk a little bit about the history of the pipeline and what we're proposing, and then I'm going to turn it over to John and Nancy, probably talk a little bit about the scope and time frame. But just for everyone's edification, the pipeline is the Algonquin gas transmission line. It's approximately 1,100 miles long. I think exactly it's 1,127 miles. It starts in New Jersey, works its way up through New York, Connecticut, and into New England. It actually supplies about 50% of all the natural gas for New England. So it's a very significant pipeline. And I'm very proud to say we've been providing safe, and I want to reiterate the word safe, reliable, and dependable natural gas for over 70 years to this area and to southwestern Massachusetts. But as you can imagine, there's certainly, as the representative mentioned, there's challenges when you have a pipeline that's 70 years old. And I think one of the biggest challenges, I think everyone in this room knows, and the people that are watching from home tonight, or energy costs. We pay the most amount of utility costs in the nation here in Massachusetts, the highest, and it continues to escalate. And that's really for a number of factors. There's so many different factors, but number one, it has to do with high demand. There's just more and more of a demand for natural gas. When you think about when the pipeline was built in 1953, what the town of Bellingham actually looked like compared to what it looks like now with residents and schools and businesses. That's one factor. Another factor is sometimes we have abnormal cold temperatures that can create a spike in demand and obviously a spike in cost. But I think the single biggest issue is there's some infrastructure constraints with a pipeline. There's certain flow areas in particular where we are today that are very small and very limited. Not to mention, on top of that, natural gas beside Algonquin is supplemented through LNG. And for those of you that don't know what LNG is, liquid natural gas. And that's very costly because it's imported and it comes in overseas through the Everett terminal outside of Boston. Well, folks, that's scheduled to be closed in a couple of years as well. And that creates a whole new web of concerns when it comes to increasing spike of costs and expenses. So those are probably one of the bigger issues as we talk about is the energy costs, and those are some of the contributing factors. So I think we all know there's really not a huge appetite in Massachusetts to build new gas lines. Is an increase in demand more and more with decreased or limited supply. So we've proposed a compromise with DPU, and that's the Algonquin Enhancement Project. And this addresses all of the issues that I just talked about. There's a section of the Algonquin portion is called the G1, which is where we are right now. And we're proposing to upgrade the existing 16-inch pipe to a 36-inch pipe. Within the current right of way. So in other words, we're not going to new construction or a new gas line or a new direction. It's exactly where the pipeline already is. And this is basically, will be in 5 towns, Mendon, Bellingham, Franklin, Rentham, and Cumberland, Rhode Island. And I also just want to mention that this is not a greenfield development, which is very significant because that minimizes any environmental disruption or community impact for the community in which the upgrade's being done. So basically, this simple upgrade will basically address the issues of improved system reliability, help stabilize energy prices, which I know is probably paramount to everyone in this room and with the public in general. Matter of fact, Eversource estimates that it'll be over 300 million in savings by doing this, and it will also stabilize the increased price with the LNGs, or at least with the Everett terminal being closed. It will reduce usage of coal and oil, and it will obviously support economic development. So there's a lot of pros to this with very minimum impact, if any. I do just want everybody to know that this is not happening tomorrow. We are early stages. I don't want somebody to open up their current and think they're gonna be seeing, you know, an upgrade in the pipeline. We have to, as the representative mentioned, file with DEP. That could be 6, 8 months, even longer before we get approval. If we get approval, and if we do, then it has to go to FERC and the Federal Regulatory Committee to look at, study and approve as well. So this is certainly nothing that's imminent. But again, as the representative said, we're very transparent. We want to be out front. We just want to communicate. So if you have any calls from your constituents, you know, what's going on, at least you know. And that's part of my job, is to make sure if you have any questions or concerns, please call me immediately and I'll get you that answer. And if I don't know it, I'll find out. But with that said, let me turn it over to John Sheridan. John, again, is going to just talk a little bit about the scope, and we'll get into a little bit of the proposed mapping, and then I'll obviously conclude.
Well, and thanks, Scott. And thank you to the board for giving us a chance to come in tonight and provide an overview of the project. Slide 6 talks about the project scope summary, and it actually involves 3 states. In Connecticut, we're actually looking at adding compression at one of our existing compressor stations. These compressor stations are located every 50 miles or so along the Algonquin pipeline system, which enables the gas to be pushed through the pipeline to its next destination. So we'll be upgrading the compression in Connecticut. And in Massachusetts, as Guy had mentioned, we're taking up a 16-inch with a 36-inch in the same ditch line, and that'll extend for 7.1 miles from Mendon, Bellingham, Franklin, Rentham, and Cumberland, Rhode Island. And then in Rhode Island alone, we will also have about 5.24 miles of pipeline looping coming out of our main line out of our Burrville compressor station, but also in upgrades in Tiverton, as well as in Little Compton, Rhode Island as well. That's a high-level overview of the scope of work that's currently proposed. That's what we will eventually file with FERC once we get all the field work taken care of. And really, the next slide talks about the high-level timeline. And the first step is really ongoing communication with the public, with the board, landowners, and residents within the town. In Algonquin internally, we have some highly experienced professionals that have been working on pipeline permitting, siting, and construction. And they have decades of experience, and we're going to be able to put that to work here as we look at enhancing and upgrading the existing pipeline system. At this point, I'd just like to have Nancy step in and talk about what the next steps are, which is really the reaching out to landowners to talk about survey and what that would involve.
Thanks, John.
And thanks again for allowing us to speak tonight. I'm Nancy Kist. I run the lands and right-of-way portion of this project. And what that means is that I supervise folks who are gonna go out and talk to landowners along the route. So we've got pipeline that's been in the ground for 70 years. It goes through lots of people's properties, mostly backyard or side yard, not too much front yard here, but we're gonna go talk to those folks. We're gonna reach out to them first and send them a letter. And that letter's gonna do a couple things. One, it's gonna explain the project as we're explaining it to you here tonight. It's gonna tell them a little bit about the scope of the project and why we need to do it. It's also gonna explain to them that, we have existing pipeline rights out there and folks are gonna be going out to the field on our behalf to gather data related to the pipeline. So we're gonna have, surveyors going out there, civil surveyors going out there to do survey work. Environmental, folks who'll go out and, look to see if there were threatened endangered species on the land or, flora or fauna that needs to be protected or wetlands or water bodies. So the survey crews will go through and look for that. And likewise, we also have folks that do, cultural resource surveys. So they'll also go along the route to look for whether it's historic structures or signs that, of, indigenous or other historic populations that might have been in the region, and whether there are historic sites that we should take into account when designing the project, and if there's something out there that we need to account for and potentially avoid as part of the project. So within the next week, hopefully, we'll be getting letters out to those landowners. It's going to ask them for survey permission to survey areas that might be outside of the limits of our existing easement, right? So our existing easement rights may give us the right now to go onto the property because we have the existing easement. But when we're designing a project, we also want to see what's adjacent to it so that we can design for what might be nearby that could be impacted by construction. And we want to avoid impacts, if we can, we don't want to get too close to homes. We don't want to get too close to things that if we can have a design solution to avoid it. So folks are getting a letter from us telling them that we are going to be starting civil survey work and asking them if we can survey areas outside of our existing easement to help us with the design of the project. So we'll get those letters out in the mail and see what kind of returns we get. If we haven't heard from a landowner, I'll be sending agents, right-of-way agents out into the field to go knock on doors or make phone calls and say, hey, did you get our letter? Can we answer any of your questions? Can you help us out here? And that letter is also going to make very clear that just because you give us survey permission, doesn't mean that we have the right to do anything else on your land. If we do end up needing to use any portion of your land for the construction of the pipeline, and it's not within your, in the existing easement area, we're going to compensate you for that. But we're going to do that in an arm's length transaction. And we've got, as we said, we're at the very beginning of this project. So that's something that's going to happen, at least a year or more in the future. But we're going to set up lines of communication early and communicate regularly with those landowners. And that letter will also contain a 800 number that landowners can call if they have any questions. And we will, make sure that, somebody is on call to answer that phone and return that phone call within 24 to 48 hours of when it's received. Even if it's just an initial response to say, I don't know the answer to that question, but I'll get back to you. But we're going to communicate consistently throughout this project lifecycle. John?
Thank you, Nancy. And then later, in 2026, I think in the fall, we would be looking to file the applications with the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. That is the federal agency that oversees interstate pipeline companies. And following that, we would be filing the appropriate state permits sometime in the fall of 2026. And ultimately, it seems like a long way off, but construction would begin in 2029 and in service the same year, November of that year, 2029. That's the goal right now. We also have some mapping that was put together showing the existing 16 and 20-inch line to give you an idea of the location as it goes through just a piece of Mendon as it crosses the power lines, it enters Bellingham. And it travels for about 3.3 miles before it hits Franklin for about 0.2 miles, and then Rentham for about 2.2 miles. Not sure if there are any questions as it relates to the alignment. These lines were built in the 1950s. And as Guy said, we would be replacing one of the lines, the 16-inch within the existing right of way. And by doing that, upgrading the pipeline system will be lessening the impact not only to landowners, but to the environment, into the community as a whole.
Yeah, and I'd say if you can see by looking at the maps, there's not a lot of neighborhoods or houses that this goes close to. I don't want anybody to think we're trying to upheaval any neighborhoods or, a lot of this is, open space or, non-residential area that goes through Bellingham into Franklin, but certainly we're cognizant of those houses that we do go near, and we're committed to make sure that we work with them and we answer all questions. So I would just end by saying, the representative's done a great job in staying on top of us to make sure we keep you informed. Joe had said the same thing at town administrator to make sure we keep him informed. And if there's any questions, you can obviously go through them to contact myself, or this team would just call me directly. But the only thing I would probably ask going forward is you might get a few phone calls when the land surveying letters hit, just saying, what is this? And we would just ask that you encourage them to fill out the form and allow us to do the proper surveying so we can come back with a more in-depth report to you exactly what needs to be done and make sure this project's done the right way, not to be rushed, not to be done the wrong way, but the right way. And this will enable us do that and also answer some of the bigger questions the board or even some of your constituents might have in the future.
Thank you, Representative Flores. Anybody have any questions?
Early for questions.
It was very, very.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Soder, Rep. Flores.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
We'll be in touch and look forward to working with your town administrator and all of you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very
much.
Mike, could I ask a question?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, our building commissioner.
Hi, how you doing? Just a question for you. So, the process would be to excavate a new line and leave the existing one in place? Is that?
No, on the existing line itself, we would not be, I don't know, I'll let John and Nancy answer that.
So we have about a 75-foot right of way in town with 2 pipelines in it. We're gonna take one of the pipelines out of service and replace it. We're gonna physically take it out of the ground and we're gonna put another pipeline in the ground in its place. So the 16-inch line will be removed and the 36-inch line will be put in place back into the same trenches where the 16-inch one was.
I see. So the other existing pipe is what size?
20-inch.
20, yeah.
So so the 20-inch will stay in service while we're doing the work. And the fact that we already have another line there gives us the ability to do the take up the pipeline and lay in a new pipeline without interrupting service in the summer months.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
All right, running a little bit ahead of schedule. We're gonna start our capital requests, Chief Fitzgerald and Lieutenant Daigle.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. So this was something that's been on our capital improvement list for a couple of years now. It's something that I got here, kind of got alerted to. Hey, at that point, the officers' portable radios that are assigned to each person were roughly 11 years old. So at this point, if we get all the necessary approvals, including town meeting, and then ordering, and then taking 3 or 4 months for everything to come in and up and running, we'll be replacing these at roughly the 14-year mark, which is a little late for technology. The real simple answer is, if you think of an iPhone, our people are running around with an iPhone 4. And they're on whatever version now, 16, 17, 18, whatever. So that's the long and short of it. The good news is we may not need this money. We have a couple of federal grant applications, a FEMA grant out there pending that would cover the whole thing, but obviously the government's not doing anything with anything right now, so we're kind of in a holding pattern along with everyone else. So at some point when FEMA or whoever does the grant reviews is back up and running, so what I would do is, I don't anticipate that will be till after town meeting. I wouldn't make any purchases with town funds until we get an answer one way or the other on the federal funds. If the federal funds come our way, we'll just give the capital money right back to the town. It can be used for something else. If the federal funds don't come our way, we'd make the purchase with town funds. So that's kind of where we're at. Anyone has any questions? I could talk about the technology.
No, we've talked about this before, but I know that you've mentioned this several times.
Yeah, it's just, this was, of all the kind of big ticket things that we had to look at, this was the one I think we were able to kick down the road the longest. We had a couple of spares, we've kind of band-aided it and it's worked. It's just to the point now where, and Motorola on the state bid list, like everyone else, is allowed to escalate their price 9% every year. So this price tag is already a little low. I'm probably gonna have to use a little bit of budget money to get this done. And July 1st, 9%, next year 9%. So if we wait, it's just gonna, you know.
Anybody have any questions?
No, I have no questions. They should have done.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, Building Commissioner Tim McCarty. Tim, how are you?
Just a couple of, items, so, building. The building tab, I don't know if you have the books over. So, just some, maintenance and repair, actually, the start of it is this building here. The cupola on the top of the building, gonna redo the cupola, it's pretty much, needs in need of repair. So.
Are you gonna repair it or just replace it?
Well, we're gonna repair all the outside. The framing is okay. I did some work to it, 2 years ago to button it up. I don't know if you remember the foyer had all stains and it was leaking water.
Yeah.
We got up there and patched it up, but it was just a Band-Aid. So we're gonna, rebuild that, most of that. That's the first item. That's the $16,000, $16,200. And then we're also gonna replace the roof on this building. Roof's approximately 23 years old. You can see it's had patches all over it. The wind takes a brutal on the wind, kills this roof, comes in, just rips stuff off. Every windstorm, there's shingles on the ground. So I don't know if it's sealed properly originally. I don't think it did. I think that's why that big patch is on the front, but it needs to be replaced.
So you're gonna use shingles, or you're gonna think about a metal roof, or?
No shingles.
Really?
Yeah, just an asphalt shingle.
Why?
Yeah.
Why
Well-
not think about metal? I mean,
I didn't really look at that, but it's a huge cost difference.
well, I don't know. I don't have a metal.
It
roof.
it
I'm
is,
just asking.
it is. It's a very big difference.
Yeah.
The other thing is too, metal roofs, like for this building is kind of dangerous because of that snow goes off of it. And that could hurt somebody, you know. There are measures that you can take, you know, you can put ice belt, you know, you can put the,
I think it's really costly.
yeah, the keepers on there, but, yeah, it's gonna be a shingle roof,
Okay, so
pretty similar to what it's on there now. And it's basically just replace the roof and, patch up any things that maybe, I don't know what it was, originally when it was built, if it had the right ceiling underneath, but we'll look at it, we'll address it at that time. The second, item is the, COA, step 3, and that is a repair on, some siding. That building needs some attention on the outside, you know, for paint and stuff, but we are gonna replace some fogged up window sashes. They'll be coming from Pella. That's the manufacturer that did the original windows. We are able to buy set replacement sash for it. And then the siding is some kind of composite siding, and it's the siding that's closest to the ground is just falling apart. So we're gonna just get some siding, replace all the way up, and you know, as it gets up to the windows, it's in a lot better condition. So we're gonna do that, and then I'll come before you and get some more money to finish the job. but that's basically, it's kind of maintenance stuff.
Got it? Any questions?
No.
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 Thank
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Dr. Morano. Good evening. Good evening, how are you?
We have four items that we're looking to do. So first is we're looking to get a trailer, a deck over trailer for our equipment. We have done it. We're gonna be taking over some of the schools, so we need to move some equipment to different places, so we're gonna need a trailer for that. Okay. Second. What's that? Yeah, second is, we're looking for another $100,000 for HVAC. We have quite a few things that have happened since we turned the heat on. Right, so we have pump replacements, we have hot water control valves, we have unit vents. We have all kinds of different things that need to be either worked on or replaced in the schools. And the budget that we have for it, we're gonna expand or expend it, you know, it's gonna be gone quickly. Okay. Third. We're looking to do a district feasibility study on the buildings and facilities, so we're gonna have an architectural firm come out, take a look at our buildings, tell us. Give us that 5-year plan and let us know what we need in the future going forward.
Mr. Chair, may I just ask, question you my question too? So I think the study answers my question I wanted to ask. Where are we with the staging and life cycle of our boilers and our HVAC, the whole bit? So that's the study that you're having done, correct? That's right. So I was gonna ask, where are we in the life cycle of all of that equipment? Because
Yeah, so
we have to plan for it. If, you know, like we do radios and cars and everything else, we need to plan for that equipment. Those boilers are gonna go out. The ACs are gonna go out.
Right.
So we need to know ahead of time, right?
Yeah, and I think that's the purpose for why we want to do this study.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we talk about doing a 5-year plan, but then something happens, we need to
Yeah.
replace these, different things. So this should give us a better understanding, a better outlay over the next 5 to 10 years.
So is this company, this is what they do for a living? They're experts in understanding the life cycle and the maintenance requirements for all this equipment?
Yeah, so, it's the beginning of it. So
Yeah.
Habib and Associates, we reached out to multiple companies, but Habib and Associates is the one that gave us the sample. And the one that's really been on us to, get us down the right road. So,
They gave us a really comprehensive report,
yeah.
so.
Are you working with Tim too, to look at other facilities that aren't school related, like this building here and? No? Is there any need or is that separate?
No, so, this building, as you know, like, last year, I had it all painted.
Yep.
I had all trim replaced.
Mhm.
This building is in really good condition.
I'm thinking of the AC and
So,
all
so
that.
you've also given me the ability to change, this building is set up like a kind of a residential type building. It has, I think, 16 furnaces. It doesn't have rooftop units like Doug has to
Yeah,
deal with,
yeah.
these big units, that have
Yeah.
probably, a
It's
longer
different.
life expectancy, right? And they're evaluating in that way. This is set up like a residential building.
Okay.
So we've been, you've given us the ability to change, you've approved it over the years. I've already replaced, I think we're up to, Hillary, we're up to like 12, I think.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
So, this building, as far as the maintenance end of it, is in really good shape. The outside's all buttoned up. The heating system is, being replaced every year. We do a couple of them every year. And, now we're gonna do the roof.
So I'm
So,
just thinking
Yeah.
economies of scale, if they're gonna do a report and analysis,
yeah.
but there's no need.
This is a more modern building. We're dealing with buildings that,
Yeah, no, but if anyone that's listening, or you're at town meeting and Doug has to, there's gonna be someone, well, are you gonna do that for all the other buildings? Just,
we do
They have
talk,
someone
we
in the
do talk
audience.
about it. Don?
Yeah.
We do talk about it
Yeah.
because I do the annual inspections every year.
Mhm.
And they're always doing maintenance on boilers and,
Okay.
his the building superintendents that he have are great.
Okay.
They keep an eye on everything. They're on top of their game and they work good together. So it's,
So I have a request as a select board member, as a parent who coached youth basketball and everything else in that high school gymnasium. People have heard me complain about this in the past. On the south side of that gym, at certain times of the day, the sun's coming in.
I know exactly what you're talking.
You know what I'm talking about? Because you and I've had that conversation. I had it with Coach Baker, with Bake, way back when. You look up, you can't see. You're looking at the basket and you're blinded. All right? Volleyball at certain times of the day, if there's an earlier game, they look up, they can't see. I'm asking if you can look into, and this goes back before Michael was there with Baker and even before him. If you can find maybe some type of blinds or electric blinds for those windows up on the gymnasium. I don't know what the cost would be, but man, oh man, it's tough for these kids.
We could find some pricing.
You know what I mean? If you could look into it, because I'd be the first one to say, we need to fix those windows. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Good. Last one. We're looking to replace the floor over at the Petro Elementary. As you walk in, the floor and the hallways that go, yeah, it's the brick now. So that floor, if you've been in there, you can see all the settling. And the brick itself probably was not the particular thing we should have put in the first place. Because there's a slip hazard, and we're gonna replace it with the flooring that we have currently at the high school, the kinetics flooring.
Any questions?
Thank you.
No.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you Wednesday.
Yes.
You don't know that the girls were in the second round of volleyball, who started the key player on the team, and they're ranked #1 in their division. Phenomenal season, just an unbelievable season, a lot of fun, and they're really good. So if you have nothing better to do on Wednesday night, go to the volleyball game, you'll see some unbelievable volleyball.
Or go to the Taste of Bellingham.
Taste of Bellingham.
Go to the volleyball game, sorry.
They made it to the finals 2 years in a row. Hopefully
That's right.
we'll see,
Yeah, I hope so.
And now our favorite.
Good evening.
Good evening, Jesse.
I'll keep it brief, I promise.
Okay.
So I got a half a dozen requests for tonight. If let's forget, you can start with the DPW tab. Tab number 5.
Is that the slideshow?
This is the slideshow, yes. So the first request is for generators. Put together a brief presentation just to describe what we're looking to accomplish here. We've gone through a couple different iterations. And this is where we plan to do to funding and things of that nature. But essentially, we're looking to fund a backup generator for our DPW administrative building on 215 Depot Street. This here is a drawing of the location, the proposed location for this on-site generator. Next slide, please. We were successful in bidding the project. Our opinion of probable cost for construction was a little higher than what we saw our low bid come in at for this generator. So the low bid was $107,950. And I just wanted to note the additional numbers, the Alt-A bid pricing, for example, was to see what that second generator would look like. Ideally, we have power, backup power provided to this entire site. But again, due to funding, we did dial this project back to some degree with the mindset of providing temporary power, backup power for the administrative building for the here and now. So this chart here shows, the green line shows the average pricing that the bids came in at. Our red line, which was originally proposed as the opinion of probable cost for construction, and the blue bar show the actual bid results with the highlighted blue bar all the way to the left with our low bid. So we were successful in coming in below what we were originally projecting. So this was previously presented with OPCC numbers. As a result, we had a much higher amount requested at the time. Contingency was higher just because there was a lot of uncertainty. Our engineers, our consultants do a great job at estimating. It's based off of market, what they're seeing in the market at that time, and so on and so forth. But once we actually had the 1029 bid results, we were able to refine that down to a total revised request of $465,745. For comparisons, we did reach out as well to see what a tow behind generator would cost, comparatively sized
And we saw pricing, just north of $88,000. So, question had come up a couple times, you know, what it would look like, and we thought this would be helpful information just for comparative reasons. What we see here is a cost breakdown of what the request is. We do have a 10% contingency built into this, just in case there's any variables that we weren't expecting. Construction, engineering, oversight for the project, and also Eversource fees. We did put a pretty conservative number in there at $20,000. There's just no way of knowing exactly what it's gonna cost. So, you know, it's kind of interesting, you know, how it takes Eversource to come to the project and actually give us a price for it at that time. But this would be ample to get us through the project that we have proposed here. Okay. That's
As always, I have questions.
yes.
We just built this building. Why wasn't this factored into the original estimate? So that the town could have voted and it might have cost us less money than it's gonna cost us right now. I have no idea if it would. My assumption is everything is going up. Why wasn't this factored in the past?
Great question. So the generator was discussed, as you're probably aware, we did have a building committee, for this DPW building. And the short answer is funding. You know, the amount that we were able to appropriate for this wasn't enough to cover the generator. It also wasn't enough to cover, we actually proposed a metal roof for the building. We also proposed having the stormwater basin, taken care of. So there were a number of items that we had to cut to keep costs down, and unfortunately, this was one of them.
Any other questions?
You're on that committee.
I wasn't happy about it, but.
It's like the police station. You know, 8 years ago, they do the police station and then they come back to us for one, I know it cost us less in the end. They needed over $1 million to appropriate locker rooms for our female patrol and officers. And I get it, we should have planned for it back then. I'm not a big fan of nickel and diming. I'm a fan of looking out and projecting. So just like with the fire assessment study that we're doing right now, we're not looking at what the building's gonna look at tomorrow or any tomorrow. We're looking out 25 and 50 years. So then when we present those numbers, we can't be, and this isn't on you, Jesse, at all. This isn't directed to you personally. It's just the process. We really need to look a little further out when we're making decisions like this. Not that this is a massive amount, but I can tell you at town meeting, you're gonna get hit with this question. There are gonna be people that are gonna ask you this question. Just be prepared to answer the question, right?
Absolutely.
And that's all I'm gonna suggest. You know, and if they ask other members of that committee, be prepared, because they will ask. Okay?
I agree. Thank you.
You know, I just want to say this is, and Jesse knows how I feel about this, but this is one of the things that I complained about is this is always what we do in Bellingham. This is not new. We get a budget, and instead of projecting that budget to cover everything you're going to need, we never do. We always shortchange it, and then we always end up coming back for money. And we had talked about coming back right away. I said, why don't we just go back and get it now? And there were a few of us, but you know, it was not advised to do, but it's something you really need to think about in this town. About stopping these short changes on what we're doing to new buildings and existing buildings to make them go further than what they should go.
And I'm not arguing against a generator. I understand the need of a building like this during emergencies, things like that. That building needs to cook. Like this building in the police station, the fire, it needs to be up and running to support the community. There's no question. I'm not arguing that point at all.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. Thank
okay.
you.
All right. No more further comment.
Okay. All right, excellent. Our next request is for a vegetation management plan. This is also in the DPW tab, a little further, towards the end there. And there's also a presentation for this one, just to provide a little bit of, background on what we're actually looking to accomplish here. So what is a vegetation management plan? Vegetation management plan
or VMP, is a formal document that guides how the town manages unwanted vegetation such as brush and invasive plants around public roads, drainage systems, and water facilities. It ensures vegetation is managed safely, efficiently, and in a way that protects the environment. Why consider a VMP? A VMP would help the town improve roadway and sidewalk visibility and safety, maintain stormwater systems and prevent flooding, protect drinking water wells and infrastructure, control invasive or hazardous vegetation, and reduce long-term maintenance costs through planning. A VMP ensures the work is performed, is planned, transparent, and environmentally responsible. Would a VMP mean herbicides would be used? Possibly in the future, but only if needed and if in very limited targeted applications. A VMP would allow the town to use herbicides if necessary under strict rules. Cutting and mechanical methods would remain the primary tools. There are situations where cutting alone is not effective, such as invasive species like knotweed or poison ivy, vegetation damaging critical drainage systems, and brush regrowth in areas unsafe for repeated mechanical work. How would the town ensure herbicides are used safely? The town would follow state environmental regulations 333 CMR 11.0, using only licensed and certified applicators, strict buffers around wetlands and drinking water areas, and public notification before any application, and spot treatment only. The town's priority is protecting public health and the environment. Do other local communities have VMPs? We've got a list of examples of municipalities ranging from Franklin to Northborough, as well as other utilities such as National Grid and Mass DOT. How often would the plan be updated? Reviewed regularly and updated every 5 years or sooner if needed. A VMP would ensure that we have modern, environmentally responsible tools available when needed, and this includes the option for limited, strictly controlled herbicide use in specific situations. I do have a cost for the initial startup for the program, as well as what we might project to see for the annual yearly operations plan. So the reoccurring fees are estimated at this time at around $2,000 a year, whereas the initial comes in as requested. How can residents provide input? Public participation is encouraged. Residents will be able to review the proposed plan, attend public meetings, and submit questions or feedback. Community input will be a critical part of the process. And the key takeaways for the residents are that the town does not currently use herbicides for DPW purposes. A VMP is being considered to improve vegetation and infrastructure management. Any future herbicide use would be limited, controlled, and transparent, and public health and environmental protection will guide all decisions. A lot of information, I understand, but this is something new to Bellingham. This is very routinely used in the industry. As it stands, we've got problem areas such as poison ivy that we'd like to address, where the mechanical mechanisms just simply aren't the best answer. In order for us to proceed with this, we need to first establish a plan, and then we can look at what the best means for addressing that is.
Any questions?
I'd like to thank Jesse for this because he knows that I've been at him and I was at Doc DiMartino too. With the volume of poison ivy and different things along our roadways that we have, along our sidewalks. And as Don used to say, we just can't spray stuff down unless it's approved by the state. I talked to Jesse because especially during, we'll just say early spring, we start picking up trash along these roads. If you don't do it early enough, it's overridden with poison ivy. I don't want anybody going into poison ivy to pick this stuff up. That's a nasty thing to do. So then you get to the fall, and then we have 2 or 3 times the volume of trash and litter, etc. So Jesse, thank you for bringing this to us. I do have a question. How about what the maintenance of our just the grasslands and the weeds and stuff along our roads? Give you an example, 126, like from Maple Street going toward Walmart, both sides of the road. And there's many other areas in town. but there's just always kinds of weeds sticking, really, it's an eyesore, and then there's that median. If you're going like from Maple Street to Walmart, and you're looking to take a left at a Whole Foods Plaza or the right, there's a median in the middle, there's always grass there 2 and 3 feet high. It's just an eyesore. I mean, is that part of this program, or is that just part of the DPW's responsibility for overall maintenance of the town? You know, grasslands and stuff.
Great question.
Curious.
Yeah, so I think the answer is really both.
Okay.
The vegetation management plan would look at areas such as that and determine what the best means to address the
Yeah.
overgrowth would be. Whether that be application of a pesticide or mechanical means. So it really takes a deeper dive into what the appropriate method would be. But on top of that, that does fall under routine maintenance for the DPW / Parks Department. You know, that is something that we could certainly, you know, keep a closer eye on. But as always, items like that, you know, there's, as you know, there are so many tasks to do, only so many hours in the day. You know, we certainly take this very seriously, but it just comes down to, you know, planning for it appropriately and getting the equipment out and just doing it. You know, so I would just recommend if there are any areas such as that, reach out to the DPW. As everybody here is probably well aware, we're always open to listening and doing our best to get at it. So,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Here's my only question would be if residents grow their own vegetables or something at their house, or they have pets that are out in the yard. Is it gonna be something that's a pesticide that would be possibly not harmful, harmful to pets, or is there a way to say, hey, look, these are my concerns, is there a way you could do it not in front of my home, stuff like that?
Yeah, great question. So actually, believe it or not, the vegetation management plan puts more restrictions on where we can use it. So we wouldn't anticipate, you know, the use of herbicides necessarily in front of residential addresses, waterways. You know, there's strict guidelines on even proximity to drinking water sources or streams, culverts. Believe it or not, they limit, even when it's too windy, we can't put the material down. So they're very strict on where not to use it. So when it comes to the residential type application, I think you're gonna find that it's really gonna be the mechanical methods as opposed to spraying applications, pesticides.
Awesome, thanks, Jesse.
And to add on to that, when you are doing, the plan's gonna identify where you're gonna be spraying and where you're gonna be treating. On an annual basis, before that work's done, you have to put notice in the newspaper that this is gonna be happening so that the public has an opportunity to review and comment in case there are concerns.
Awesome, thanks, you.
Great, just.
Thank
Thank you. Okay, next up, this is gonna be found under the Parks tab. No slides for the rest of them. This is just a request for playground repairs. Detailed in here, we did have our playgrounds inspected this year, found a number of items that we would like to address. Obviously, we will use our operating budget to the best of our ability, but we do believe this will go above and beyond what we're able to spend with our operating budget. So the request is for an additional $25,000.
Our playgrounds definitely need a lot of TLC. I mean, I know Joe's a one-man show and he's doing everything that he can, but we definitely need to do better with our playgrounds.
Agreed.
Any questions?
No. Up next, we have a request under the sewer tab. And this request is similar to what you've seen in the past for Mechanic Street. This is actually for basically the sister site, North Main Street. We're looking to replace the sewer grinders here. Both stations were about the same vintage. We're experiencing the same issues. We received an updated quote to replace both sewer grinders there to stay ahead of any blockages, SSOs, things of that nature.
Any questions? No.
Next up, this is under the trash tab, number 12. And this is for compliance engineering services at our recycle center. We did receive a quote for engineering services to prepare a corrective action for a failed or breached swale at the recycle center. Essentially, over the years, we've had a buildup along the
along the top crest of the cap at the landfill, it's breached and created an issue with water runoff going down the cap. So this would be essentially phase one of two, at least phase two, to repair those that breached area. So this would be the design phase for future construction to commence. So this here takes care of the landfill cap repair design, bid phase services, and solid waste advisory services.
Any questions?
Next up, we have a request for the well 10 access road. This request is the price for the access road, contingency and construction administration for that access road. And this would be the construction of a road to continue the exploration for our new, what would be potentially our newest well source, well 10 off of High Street. This is, again, next steps to explore that as a viable source. As it stands, we've done our preliminary piloting. Results show that this could be a viable source. Next phase would be to actually get a full-scale pump truck in there to actually run, full volumes at capacity and see what the quality actually yields here. So this would be to construct the road to actually get the rigging equipment in there.
Any questions?
No.
Thank you.
And that was my final request.
The well 10, that's where the softball complex is, right? Where you're looking.
Yes.
So it's between the two softball fields at the end of the parking lot into the woods there,
Yes,
straight back.
correct.
That's
Yep.
what I thought.
High Street, heading towards Maple Street, it would be on your right-hand side.
Yep.
Diagonal across from Cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Before you go, do you want to skip to the Verizon,
Yep.
please?
Do I have a motion for the?
Wait, do you want to explain what it is? But the Verizon lease.
Yes, yes. So we've actually had this in front of the board on a couple of different occasions for different reasons. We had more recently an access agreement for Verizon. To back up a little bit, we did a request for quotes for the use of our Grove standpipe for cell phone communications, things of that nature. Verizon was the high bidder on this project. So this would actually be for the lease agreement portion following their site reconnaissance, their access agreement that was previously approved. This would be potentially one of the final steps to get this thing finally finalized.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the Verizon lease as presented?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor? Aye.
I'm gonna abstain. I haven't had a chance to read it.
Okay. Four.
I think that was all I had.
I think so. Thank you.
All right, thanks again.
Yeah,
Have a good night.
thanks, that's.
All right, town meeting, more review. I think we are only hearing 5 motions at the meeting, correct?
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
But it's like we still have to do motion
Motions and.
on the others.
Yes.
So just as a reminder for everyone watching this meeting, fall annual town meeting is coming up November 19th. On the warrant, we have 13 articles. They are as following: amend annual town meeting Article 1, FY26 operating expense and salaries. Amend annual town meeting Article 2, FY26 trash enterprise. Amend annual town meeting Article 3, FY26 water enterprise. Amend Article 4 from annual town meeting FY26 sewer enterprise. Amend annual town meeting Article 5, FY26 stormwater enterprise. Article 6, capital outlay overtures, $50,000 and over. Article 7, capital outlay expenditures less than $50,000. Article 8, amend annual town meeting Article 15, capital outlay for PFAS Design engineering for Hartford Ave treatment plant. Article 9, transfer to group health insurance trust fund. Article 10, transfer to capital investment trust fund. 11, transfer to compensated absences fund. 12, transfer to stabilization fund. And 13, unpaid. So Article 1, which is amend FY 26 operating budget, we don't have anything that needs to be amended or added, so staff recommends that we pass over Article 1. Article 2, which was trash enterprise, again, we don't have any transfers, so we pass over that article. Article 3, water enterprise. You can see the trend. We don't have anything to transfer, so pass over Article 3. Article 4, sewer, pass over Article 4. Article 5, FY 26 stormwater enterprise amendments. We have nothing to move for those first 5 articles. The first article where we are technically doing business is Article 6, which is the capital outlay, 50,000 and more. The presentations that you heard tonight totaled $1,183,841, and that's the motion that we would be considering that night. And of course, having presentations and from department heads, and the finance committee report and recommendation was just finalized today. That's going to be posted tomorrow and sent to the printers, and they voted to approve all the capital articles for 50K and above. And that's just a reminder, here's the list. Majority are coming from free cash with the exception of the generator, which is a quarter from free cash, and the remaining a fourth for water, sewer, and stormwater coming from those respective retained earnings. And then for the grinder replacement, retained earnings, and well access road from retained earnings. Article 7, capital outlay under 50K. Those total 217,236. And here's a spreadsheet identifying those projects: municipal roof, the cupola, as well as the roof, COA siding repair. Things that we didn't hear presentations on, there's a Sonar 1 treatment. That's actually not Sonar the technology. It's a type of herbicide for treating Silver Lake. You have the vegetation management plan, a commercial carpet floor cleaner that was requested by library, but that would be able to be shared with other municipal departments. Playground repairs, you heard the school committee's deck over equipment trailer, and then the DePietro Elementary hallway, entry hallway repair. So coming in at Article 8, proposing that amend the Article 15 from May 24, 2023 annual town meeting that appropriated $2,100,000 for the design engineering of the PFAS treatment plant. Because we have finished with that design engineering, we're actually moving towards the construction phase. We'd like to be able to have the authorization amended to be used for construction costs. This is language that was recommended by bond counsel. And the motion would be basically just to approve Article 8 as set forth in the report and recommendations. Article 9, transfer of group health insurance fund. As the board recalls, we've either done this annually, or even in the last 12 months, we've done it twice, once at the fall, once at annual town meeting. Currently we're recommending transfer of $1 million to the group health insurance. Basically, if you may recall from the last year, we went in to the beginning of FY 25 with a little over 2 million. We used $1 million. This is basically replenishing that back. Article 10, transfer to capital investment trust fund. At this time, we're not recommending any, so we're recommending passing over Article 10. Article 11, transfer to compensated absences fund, recommending transfer of 75,000. This is sort of in line with what the town has historically done, from free cash. Coming in, Article 12, transfer stabilization. At this time, we're not recommending any money be transferred to stabilization. We do have healthy balances in both. And we're within the the band that DLS recommends for the percentage of your operating budget that you have in stabilization. And then Article 13, we do not have any unpaid bills from FY25, so we recommend passing over Article 13.
Any questions?
I just, with all the passing over, procedurally, is there a way in the beginning of, the town meeting to just say, we want to move past Article 1, boom, 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 so we can maybe get through it a little quicker?
We have done that in the past.
Well, I'm just wondering procedurally if that's okay to do.
So, yes, there would. And one of the things I want to talk, especially with the new town moderator, John Keeler, a lot of towns have what's called a consent agenda, where you group articles together to take action. You could basically group all of these and say, let's take action on these 5, and because we're going to be passing over them and just group them together.
Yeah, and it might help John, it being his first town meeting, might make it a little easier for him.
Do we need to take a vote authorizing him to do that, or can you just do it?
No, I can
No,
just
it's up
talk
to
to
the,
John.
it's up to the moderator.
It's up to
what he wants
him.
do, not up to us.
And that's what a lot of towns have
I
moved.
mean, I just want to eliminate a lot of the excess questions that we've had in past years.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah, so I'll talk to John, especially both he and I coming into our first set of town meetings. And while this may be simple, this is always a good opportunity to sort of make sure that we're aligned going into annual town meeting.
Yeah.
Because once this town meeting happens, warrant opens up 2 months later.
I know.
And we just start
Sure.
this all over again.
Exactly, yeah, okay, good, that's it, no,
Any
it's
other
great,
questions?
thank you. No, I loved your summary,
Okay.
very, very nice.
Do you have anything you want to add?
I like the summary too.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Very helpful.
Yeah. All right. We have to just take a vote on the presentation. or
Nope, that was just informational.
All right, 1 day, special, liquor license request for the Bellingham Business Association's Taste of Bellingham, November 5th. November 5th, Karma, at the senior center.
So moved.
Wait a second.
And
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, 5-0. We have a designee for the records access officer pursuant to 950 CMR 32.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I make a motion to designate the police chief, I'll make a motion pursuant to 950 CMI 32.00 Public Records Access, section 32-04. I move to designate the following individuals as records access officers for the following departments: police chief as the RAO for police department, fire chief as the RAO for fire department, assistant superintendent as the RAO for school department, and the town clerk for all additional town departments.
Second?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
5-0. All right, vote on the October 20th town meeting minutes.
So moved.
For a second.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? None. 5-0. Anything for old business? For new business, Mr. Joe, do you want to handle that?
Sorry, new business or?
Yeah, your informal session for the town meeting.
Oh, sorry. So on Thursday, November 13th, myself as well as other department heads, including town clerk, everyone that presented, before you tonight, and including town moderator, are going to be holding a informational session at the Bellingham Senior Center. Again, that's Thursday, November 13th at 10 a.m. We did arrange for a BMI to also film it so it can go out on social media, the website, and our cable station as well. Put to the challenge from Jen as far as pulling together things, but it's a great opportunity to sort of get everyone together. And in my past towns, I would do like a pre-town meeting show, but it's really boring just at an empty desk, just myself talking about articles. I think this will be a much more engaging way to not only answer questions from seniors that are there, but it also helps us sort of refine and maybe identify some questions we need to be prepared for town meeting. And then give an opportunity to really hit more people by having it go out on cable, our YouTube channel, and social media as a way to inform people of upcoming town meeting.
Great, thanks. And we can segue into your administrator.
Hold on, Jen wanted to bring something
So
up.
I wanted to share that we have announced that we are having a holiday parade here in Bellingham on December 13th. And our new town administrator is our grand marshal for the year. We will start at the middle school and we will, only riders, no walkers, will go from middle school to the front of this park here. We'll light a tree and then we'll continue on to Spartan Fitness, who are hosting a Christmas party on our town's behalf. We're on social media, we'll be in the paper and we're hitting the radio stations, but for mostly it's really now the social media aspect to sign up and get involved if we want. We're up to 7 vehicles now. So in day one, so we're excited to have this brought to our town. So, and see what Joe comes up with his vehicle. So.
Yep.
He jumped on that one.
Are you coming in a sleigh dressed as Santa Claus?
We can't have that. We
Right.
told that, but
There's special people to deal with that.
we yeah. So
You can go as Buddy.
we'll costume. Let's get the costume. You can borrow if you need to.
Yes, I have a buddy.
Anyways, if you care to join, sign us up, sign your vehicle up, whomever, and join us and have some fun. So
Where can they find the information?
right now it's on social media.
On what page?
It's on the Bellingham Business Association, is
Okay.
actually the one spearheading it, and we're just
Okay.
partnering with them to kind of help make this.
So BBA page
Yeah.
for more
And
information.
I think Spartan has stuff.
Spartan has it, well, they announced last night, so they have
Yeah.
it, they're very, very excited, so. We had an amazing trunk or treat, that's just another step in that direction, so.
Awesome.
Now we can do it.
So tomorrow, being the first Tuesday of the month, is my next coffee and conversations at the Bellingham Senior Center. You all received a email from Department of Local Services that free cash for FY 26 was certified at $3.764 million. Fall town meeting prep, staff has been working hard on this. Attending finance committee meetings last week to finalize votes on the articles. As I mentioned, the report and recommendation of the finance committee has been finalized and will be posted tomorrow. And we just talked about the informational session. Had our December 21st department head meeting. Departments gave various updates, including assessors that they're coming towards the end of their recertification cycle. DOR has chimed in on some of their initial filings and has not found any issues. So that will be finalized soon. And they're completing town mapping updates. Police chief, and this is preliminary news because there will be a more formal recognition coming up, but Chief Fitzgerald let us know that he received confirmation the department passed the accreditation process. So we're just awaiting formal designation, and then we'll be notified of an award ceremony that will probably be later on December or January. But that'll be something we'll send you all that information, and it really is it's a very lengthy process. I'm sure he's reviewed it with you, but it really, hats off to that department for their effort for pulling that all together. It is a good amount of work, and then maintaining is also a significant dedication. They're also finalizing their capital projects with final installation of lockers and police and fire dispatch consoles. Fire department, as we all know from tonight, has been busy. While it's been fixed, at the time we had department head meeting, they were down to one ambulance trying to get the other repaired. And they held a open house on November 1st, this past Saturday. Senior Center is starting to see some impacts associated with federal funding deadlines, namely Shine counselors working out in Milford have seen a reduction in services, and that's causing some people that normally would go down Milford to come to adjacent towns, including Bellingham. They've finished their year-end formula grant reporting. And some events coming up. November 12th will be Veterans Breakfast, Taste of Bellingham coming up Wednesday. And they finished work on the pavilion that's enclosed, and they're now working on the floor.
The floor is done.
Floor is done.
Beautiful, and the only thing left is electrical. Lights and some all that, yeah, yeah.
We just went through a whole bunch with capital requests, and Hillary's has started, because I hear them all asking where's Hillary, so they can start their annual license process, renewal process. HR is continuing to work with school and finance departments on year-end reporting. And we also met with our health consultants on anticipated health insurance rates and changes for the upcoming year. And specifically, MedX recipients are the ones that are hit first because their rates go effective on January 1st. There is an increase, and that's going to be communicated out through the HR department. The IT department has finished all their system-wide updates and upgrades. Their next project is upgrades of software from server-based to cloud-based versions for public safety assessing systems. These were funded through Community Compact Grant Program. Conservation is reviewing a number of smaller applications and still one larger one off of Blackstone Street. And staff has completed the draft of the open space and recreation plan coming up at the next meeting. The board's going to receive an update of that plan and overview of the action plan. Board of Health has seen a slowdown in septic installations. This a lot of times is seasonal as well. And that's one thing, working with the inspections department, as well as assessing, always being mindful if septic systems are installing, is that foreshadowing, say, a decrease in building activity, but this is really more aligned to seasonal changes right now. They also have been doing food establishment inspections, and recently visited the new Indian restaurant, Venga Bellingham, which has opened up in the plaza with a market basket. And it was commented at the department head meeting that the food's good. And they're continuing, as you heard from Jesse, Board of Health is working with DPW on the recycling center scope of work for drainage repairs. Planning is finishing up a number of projects and voted on Prospect Village. This was about a week and a half ago, and they received a new application for 4-tenant building at 455 Hartford Ave. And DPW has had a busy sort of end of the season. They finished paving. The Silver Lake Dam project is wrapping up for the season. Rentham Road culvert was on the road committee agenda and is moving forward. They're also planning for upcoming snow season with applications, and updated rates are now available. The water division is doing an audit of the water meter system. Staff is doing repairs to shut-off valves. And even with the rain, level 1 drought is still in effect. And Parks is busy winterizing the splash pad and conducting irrigation system blowouts. Lots going on in town.
Busy town.
Yep.
All right. It looks like we have finished the agenda for this part. Do I have a motion to?
You gotta read the motion for the executive session.
Motion to hold executive session pursuant to general law, chapter 30A, section 21, section A, subsection 6. To consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property in their, properties. If the chair declares that open meeting may have detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body, the property is located on Maple Street, we will, not be rejoining the general meeting, we will adjourn from executive session.
Do I have a second?
So move, Jim.
And roll call vote, Cody?
Aye.
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 And
Hi.
Aye.
Right,